The afternoon session. Damien, introducing Damien. So exciting. Hello, Damien.
Sam,
Hello.
right?
How are you?
Really good, thanks. Yeah, really glad to be here.
Oh, we're delighted to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us for National Careers Week. It's very exciting. We have students watching from all over the UK, and we are being beamed into classrooms as we speak. So there's thousands of people watching.
Amazing.
Okay, so would you be able to introduce yourself, tell us who you are, what you do, and what is Indie Novella?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Damien Mosley, and I run a publishing company called Indie Novella, and we are known as a small press. So we are not one of the big boys, but we are part of this vibrant community of smaller publishers who essentially take risks on new debut authors and design cool books. So basically, like we're a publisher who likes producing cool books. We produce probably about 8 a year, and we've kind of got the freedom to almost do essentially anything that we want in the publishing industry. But I can talk a bit more about that later. Yes.
Yes, oh my gosh, amazing. It sounds very liberating to be able to do what you want in publishing. How exciting. Okay, so let's talk about Indie Novella a bit more. Let's talk about how you help young people get a foot in the door of the creative world, because I gather you have a couple of courses, is that right?
Yeah, yeah. So what Indie Novella did is so we started out as a group of friends who all had like a little bit of publishing experience, more from the writing experience, and we kind of saw this gap out there that we didn't quite see the stories that we wanted to read out there, like the stories from your local community that really relate to you. And we wanted to kind of create that. We got together with a group of authors and we developed Indie Novella to have this space to actually get stories out there that like really proper stories that we really wanted to hear from different people. But what we realized is the fact that a lot of people who've got an amazing story think that publishing is not for them or writing is not for them because they've not gone to like a posh school or a posh university. That is complete nonsense. The biggest gap we found in publishing, and we did surveys from loads of people, was a knowledge barrier, is that it just seemed a little bit opaque. So we thought, okay, how do we get all the stories out there? We need to actually free the knowledge. So we got together with three really big literary agencies, Watson Little, David Godwin, and Georgina Capel. And we created this program called the Indie Novella Writing Course that actually provides material of how you actually like take that story in your head that you think that's amazing, that you like think that okay, this could even be a film, and actually like turn it into a novel. And it just then I think, especially for young people, what we wanted to generate is this that you don't have to be like 40 when you actually start writing. You can do it at 20. You know the skills already. It's already been in 9 weeks, you'll be kind of caught up. But we also wanted to actually open doors for people to get into publishing. And a lot of people said, well, all the jobs are in London. You have to have all this work experience. You have to know someone in publishing. So we created this program that runs once a year called the Aspiring Editors Program. And that basically has about 10 to 20 people a year from communities that's really that you don't have another publisher out there to do work experience, and you're with us for about a year, and you have monthly talks with really great names from publishing. Neil Griffiths is one who's from Weatherglass Books, another small press who was nominated for the Women's Prize. Yeah, we try to get so many great people there. So over the course of this year, so if you're like doing another job, you're kind of learning and developing because everyone kind of thinks you have to be there already, like you have to have the experience already. Like you've got so many years ahead of you to develop this experience. So we wanted to create this program and it's run with the Arts Council, and we're trying to figure out ways we can actually expand it to more people. So yeah, that's kind of what Indie Novella does.
Oh, I love that. I mean, you're solving so many problems all at once as well. I feel like you guys have really you got your eye on the prize there. It's amazing. And just to clarify as well, these courses, are they, how much do you have to pay? Are they the Arts Council funded? Does that mean they're free?
Yeah, everything is free regarding course-wise. That's why we set ourselves up because we found that there were so many places where you had to pay, and we didn't think that was fair. So we're trying to liberate the knowledge and do as much everything that we can for people for free. So yeah, maybe not the best business plan, but we think it's fair. It's the way things should be.
I agree. We also do everything for free, so I back your business plan. We have the same one. No, it's an absolutely amazing initiative, and there are so many young people watching from all over the UK as well at the moment. So everyone will be delighted that they can get their hands on this. So you have good, like, I mean, you're accumulating all the knowledge to be able to then share with young people as well. So you have really good understanding of how the industry works and how to translate that to young people who, I guess, need to know all the basics. So what does the industry look like? How does it work? A really, really quick synopsis of, I guess, how publishing kind of operates.
Yeah, yeah. At the top level, there are your really big publishers. So you've got HarperCollins on, I believe, who are huge. Then and Penguin as well. There's Hachette. I think there's Simon Schuster. Those are known as the big four. But then outside them, there's an array of smaller publishers called small pressers and independent pressers. And these are publishers a bit like Indie Novella, and like of that have, say, about 5 to 10 employees, which may not sound a lot, but if you imagine that there's hundreds of these publishers, then there's a lot more jobs that are open. So anyone I advise is like look at these small publishers. There's a place called the Indie Press Network. And this was only set up about a year ago by a guy called Will Dady, who's also saw that why aren't we kind of grouping together if we've got like so many authors and publishers, why aren't we like, gathering? So we have now, and there's about 50, 60 publishers there. And in a way, you by understanding what they are and what small presses are, you're able to understand a bit more about publishing and find some really cool books as well. I've got a good example of Deborah Levy, who's my favorite author. She was published by a really small press, which was only founded that year, called And Other Stories. And in that year, she went on to get shortlisted for the Booker Prize, which is the biggest prize in publishing. So that was a publisher that was probably about had 5 people in who almost won the biggest prize in publishing. That's the beauty of these small presses. So if you want to find new exciting things, if you've got a novel that you're working on and you want to actually send it out and you've not, you don't have to get to Penguin, meet some of these guys. And we're even doing a mini festival of our own on Saturday called the Alternative Book Fair, which is in Islington, London, and have a look at that online, and you'll get to meet 30 publishers. But yeah, feel free to give us an email if you want to know more.
Amazing. And there's two resources there that you've actually just mentioned. One is, what was it? The Indie Book,
The Indie Press Network.
Indie Press Network. And you said there's 50 to 60 organisations part of that, but that's not all of the indie book publishers, is that, in the whole of the UK? There will be
Even a small sample. There's
just
so
a small
many.
sample. So that gives you an idea, guys, of how many publishers there are. And then also the Alternative Book Fair, like you say, there are 30 indies going along there. And I'm sure you have the list on your website of who's attending. So you'll
Yeah.
be able to kind of, even if you're not near Islington, that's absolutely fine, guys. You can still find out who's going. Great. I mean, we're already getting so much from this, Damien. Thank you so much. Okay, so in your opinion, what do you think is the most underrated career in the publishing industry? Because it takes a whole team of people to publish a book, doesn't it? Which one do you think is most overlooked or underrated?
Oh no, that is mostly because everyone goes in as an editor, and I think we did a piece for you called the 13 roles in publishing, which I think we'll gather again because everyone thinks it's an editor or nothing, but there's so many roles, and I think to be honest, the biggest role is basically the production manager, and they're the person who basically takes that book and talks to the printer and gets it typeset, and they oversee everything. They're the ones who speak to the designer as well. It's kind of, I would say, my job as well, where you may not be like the glamour role of the editor, but it's the role that almost transports you to actually be the person who runs the publishing house as well. So I'd say kind of have a look around at these different roles and just kind of like look at that, see if there's anything related to admin, and that may not sound as exciting as editing, but it just will transform your knowledge of publishing and make you so valuable.
Absolutely. Don't box yourselves into editor, guys. I mean, there are a million different other jobs. Also, I imagine with editor is high glamour, but also high risk. Like if a book doesn't go down well, I imagine that a lot of that rests on the editor. So,
Oh, it can be. It can be a bit like a haphazard. Like you do, you do have to put your heart and soul in the book, and it could do well. Books by Barry, it's like success is like means so many to things to different people, but it is always kind of sad when you actually like believe in something and it hasn't quite taken off as you would have hoped. But it is still an amazing reward to actually seeing it in print as well, though. So don't be disheartened at any stage.
yeah, that is true. Also, yeah, being able to get a physical copy of something that you have edited, that would be cool. Okay, so final question, because we've only got 4 minutes, and I imagine you have some great tips for young people in this section. What is your advice for the young people watching to be able to prep themselves now to get into the publishing industry?
Well, my main advice is be passionate and remain passionate, because what's really helped me is the fact that I have to do many hours in this role. I wake up about like 5 o'clock and then off answering emails in the evening as well. But none of it to me feels like work because I love it. And to be honest, I find it hard to even like switch off on holiday because I'm going like, oh, when's this new design cover coming out? Oh, shall we have this? And there's even a moment of free time I'm going, new idea, new idea. And I didn't realize that from when I started work. I thought work was meant to be hard and difficult. So by kind of immersing yourself into it, and what I mean is what you could do is say, yeah, go to the alternative book fair and meet some publishers, but also just start with your local bookshop. Meet the bookseller. Booksellers, those are Waterstones or whether you're independent bookshop, they know so much about books and they can recommend you what's doing well. And then it's really exciting to understand, oh, what's doing well? What are these trends? Um, like what designs are there? What do you like? It's like almost amazing just going to a bookshop and just looking at the covers and just going like, oh, that's really interesting because there's so much work done on the covers that you can actually go, oh, this belongs to this press and this belongs to this genre. And they've done this because this other book's done this. And then read the blurbs and how they sound because there's a lot of work goes into the blurb to make it exciting. And then just feel free to like say, go into Waterstones, read the first few pages, kind of understand the things of openings, why books are getting like why you're interested in something, what makes you passionate, and then go order it from the library as well. I don't recommend it's a perfectly fine thing to do. Yeah, that's what libraries are there for. Use them as your resource to get through all these reading materials. But yeah, it's just like, and if you're not a fast reader, so I'm a very slow reader, but it means that I visualize when I'm writing. So don't put yourself down if you're a slow reader as well. Just kind of go in, immerse yourself in books, and just really start to enjoy them, because they are exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, I'm a slow reader, so that makes me feel a lot better about that. And then also support your local library, guys. I love that. Damien, that's such a good tip. Like, there are books, like thousands of books in your local library. Go and have a look there. Use your library for research purposes. And yeah, you're killing two birds with one stone there, getting research for your publishing career and you're supporting your local library. And then finally, if you wanted to keep up to date with the publishing industry news, where would you go? What is your kind of like go-to news source?
Oh, the bookseller is my go-to news source, and you can get a free email update from them, and you get like one free article a month or a couple of free articles a month. And I think they do student discounts. But even just getting the emails is great because you start to see like, oh, what's happening? Like this is this literary agent. You understand who the literary agents are, how the publishers, all the trends, and these like all the information. And yeah, you suddenly realize like, oh, I'm actually so much more knowledgeable. And all I've done is just open my email. It's like, it's easy.
Easy to keep up to date. Absolutely. Damien, thank you so much. That's all we've got time for. You've been fantastic. I can tell that you help young people get their foot in the door of the publishing industry because that was a fantastic session. Thank you. I am going to put you down to an attendee now. But thank you so much. It's lovely to see you and we'll see you soon.